Hello and welcome back, everybody. Well, should I say welcome to the party. This is the first episode of Thread Review. Now, what is Thread Review? Oh, already interrupting me, Yart. Come on, man. I'm just kidding, you're good. Now,
I'll keep interrupting no matter what.
As he does it again. No, it's okay, you're good. So yes, welcome to Thread Review. This is a bit of a more different take on a podcast here. I know some of you guys might have heard of the famous or infamous MLP podcast, but this isn't necessarily a reboot or necessarily a part 2, but something a bit more different, more focused, more adjustments. But yes, hello and welcome to Thread Review. I am joined with a few guests here, a little bit of a focus group, a bit smaller. We have Yart.
Alright.
Thank you. We have Smutty.
Hey, I'm sacrificing. I'm going to get 1 hour of sleep before a 10-hour shift of this, so let's make it work.
Let's make it work.
Epic.
And is Fish gonna join us, or you're just listening?
I might say a word or two.
All right, then. So,
I find his commentary the most insightful because even whenever the quiet man asks for you to pass some table salt his way, he says it with such wisdom and reverent words.
that was beautiful. Today we have a little bit of an interesting topic. And I say little because I don't know if you guys find it interesting or not. But this is a thread that went up some time ago. This thread is an interesting thread, at least in my opinion, because of what's currently going on the board right now. Now, I am telling you guys from my perspective. I'm not sure if you guys also see it from my perspective, so since it's the topic that I chose, I kind of want to introduce it and why I chose the topic. Mm-hmm. So the topic is I don't understand nostalgia, And they have a picture that goes along with it from a popular game, from a very popular DLC, Fallout New Vegas and Old World Blues. And
I don't know about you, but I've never heard of this game before in my life.
Well, you currently are living under a rock because Fallout New Vegas is the best Fallout, even though we couldn't start it for a whole year, but it's the best Fallout.
Yeah.
Don't forget to switch to compatibility mode for Windows 7 or some other OS that hasn't been out in a decade.
Exactly. Best Fallout, even though you couldn't even start it on Xbox or PlayStation, but I digress. Yeah. The OP image is as follows. There is an old expression in the wasteland, Old World Blues. It refers to those so obsessed with the past, they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is. They stare into what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttling and spent as the realities of their world continue on around them. Now, that's the thread. Why did I choose this thread? As I said, from my point of view, there's been an influx of G5 posters and G5 threads just popping up everywhere. As well as Barbie threads, right? There was even a bit of a controversy that occurred at a week before this recording is being recorded. Now that's a weird way to say that, but I digress once again. Where individuals were saying, hey, is anyone else noticing that anytime you just disagree with the Barbies or their threads or just have arguments that you're getting banned? Am I the only guy that sees that? And Lord and behold, the first thread, at least to my knowledge, was just filled with the typical /MLP autism, because, Barbies are kind of annoying. They basically come out and being all smug saying, well, this is our board now, and, the Jannies are working for us, and, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think the argument was that they're being protected, which is kind of weird because I never really experienced that on any type of board of having certain topics or even individuals protected. I just never seen that before. And then going back to what I said, this is the first thread that I saw to my knowledge, because when I came back later on to check out, okay, what happened in this, argument, that thread was taken down and another thread popped up. And I was like, okay, I remember this having more than 29 responses, so something happened here. And then a little bit later, that thread went down. So I'm like, okay, there's obviously an issue here, and this is awful. And since we don't have a platform to speak about it over there because you're going to get banned or sent on vacation or just, basically not given a voice, we'll talk about it here. The other part is the G5 posters. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I've been seeing an influx of those people coming in. And they're posting a shit ton of fucking threads, right? And I go into those threads. And again, as a disclaimer, I can't prove 100% that I'm talking to the same person. However, I go into those threads and it feels like it's the same 3 or 4 or 5 people talking to me. And the only reason why I say that, not just because they're all pretty much saying the same fucking thing, but I can see the grammar errors they have, their spelling errors that they have, and it feels like there's just the same thing over and over and over again. So, now that I've pretty much given you guys the state of what's going on currently, who knows when this episode goes up, if it changes anything like that.
Right.
Why do you guys think that these people that are coming in and they're trying so hard to push out G4, basically the pony that got us into pony, why do you guys think that they're trying to get us out? Because I don't get it. Season 1 and Season 2, pretty fucking good. Season 3, eh. Season 4 and on, there was gems and diamonds in the rough. I wouldn't say I hold them to the highest regards to the earlier seasons, but, I guess we'll get into more detail about that. But I just find it really annoying when people hate on the foundation for a series. Don't get me wrong, nothing is, without criticism. There was animation errors. The first couple of episodes had some, the VAs didn't really kind of sound right. You can kind of hear their own voices rather than the characters. But I'll open up the floor because I've been talking for the past 5 minutes. And I want to ask first, Yart, based off of what I said, if you're even paying attention still, because I've been ranting, what is your insight on what is going on, if you want to tell us?
I will admit I haven't exactly been on the board in a while, mostly just been lurking other places, but if I were to speculate as to why they're probably being so hostile, I think it's probably because most of the other board, at least when G4 was still kicking around, they've always dunked on the Barbie posters, and frankly, I mostly didn't care one way or the other because, like a good little boy, I was in my generals, minding my own business. So perhaps to people that behave like that, just stay in the generals they prefer, occasionally look for a good shitpost thread, they probably don't really notice anything that's going on. But I would say that most likely it could be that they're either just doing what a bunch of Glimmer posters used to do back in the day. Whenever when was Glimmer introduced again? Was it season 7 or so?
Season 5.
All right, yeah, season 5. So during when season 5 was doing a bunch of stuff, I know that Glimmer posters constantly shitted up the place. I know people also accused Sunset Shimmer posters of also shitting up the place, but I may not have been on the board at the time whenever shimmy posting was at its peak level. But my guess is probably something like that. I can't really speak for whatever the Jannies and mods are doing because I don't have any ability to quantumly astral project myself into their mindset and understand what they're doing or have access to their chat logs or whatever. All I know is that it's probably something like that whenever Glimmy posting was going around. So it's probably just another round of that, just with a lot more Barbie and G5 posting. Though it does, in my opinion, kind of smack of a bit of insecurity if you have to say, oh, it's our board now, whenever your threads are about as dead as the grave.
And to ask, I for some might be a controversial opinion here, but do you think too much shitposting is bad for a board if done incorrectly?
I think S4S is still alive, so I don't know if we can quite say that's bad.
Well, as we are really good friends with that board, and that's cool. Is slash MLP though? Is it really meant to be like the shit poster board though? Because I feel like it was just lazy shit posting when like glimmer threads were everywhere, and the same thing with shimmer threads were everywhere. But and like I said, it might be a controversial opinion because I know there's some people that will die on the hill saying that shit posting should be protected no matter what. But when it's to the point where it's just, if it's just going to be the same post over and over and over and over and over again, and it's killing other threads, like I know it's also on the responsibility for those that are on those threads that are important to them to bump them. But hey, life comes up, your job, school, so you can't always be bumping. But just with that little bit of information they give you, do you still stand with that same statement?
I'll say yes because even though we know and love it, the I want to come inside Rainbow Dash posting that to my knowledge doesn't get posted as much, but it's more so a beloved ship post, probably because we have our nostalgia glasses on and remember when IWT CIRD posting was just at its peak, and that was the kind of humor of the day. And so I think that things will probably be fine. Though I can't understand mods like perhaps pruning those threads if it's just like the only thing that's on, because that could probably get annoying after a little bit, and you'd probably have to do something for quality of life. But ship posting, I think it's fine. Eventually, they'll probably get bored if it's nobody but them in there, just basically circle jerking it out.
Would you like to make any other comments before we move on to our next guest?
I don't know what a G5 is.
Fucking base. All right, and now we have Smutty. What is your take on what I said, as well as what Yart contributed?
Well, first off, with the whole thread in general, usually the people who say, "Oh, I'm tired of this nostalgia thing," usually those people have not even been there at the beginning. Usually those are the people that came in at like the last minute. First off, I mean, I'm not saying there are I'm sure there are people who have been, here from the very beginning that are kind of tired of the constant circle jerk of season 1 and season 2, but I have a theory that most of those people saying it aren't from that era. They're like from like season 6 and onwards, but that's just me personally. I do think it's a lot, like I do think it's partially just baiting, really. I don't think a lot of these people are being dead serious, when they're saying, "Ooh, we're taking over this board." But I do think some people mean it for whatever fucking reason, because, there's people like that everywhere. There's people that want to take over a community for their own fucking reason because they can't make their own, so they have to fucking steal it.
Oh, like furries.
Yeah, pretty much. Furries.
Fucking hate those guys. Sticking up the place. God. All right.
But yeah, with you saying that, notice that it's like maybe the exact same 5 people fucking saying the same shit to you. It very well might be that the people, are a lot less than you think, with you saying that the G4 threads are still booming for the most part. And I will be honest, I don't go on the G5 threads. I mean, I have been more with fucking Posey being introduced, but I've mostly just stuck to just G4 shit and general stuff, really. I haven't really gone on those threads because it's just a waste of time for me, but that's just me. So I'm probably missing some shit. Also, with the whole Janny and Mod thing, I mean, it's possible. I have seen similar shit happen with V on a few occasions, with them basically like deleting people's shit and censoring shit that they don't like. So it's very well possible. I mean, I'm not gonna like rule that possibility out because I do see that shit happen on V occasionally. But you know, V is a lot more fucking autistic. Let's be honest. So
I don't think anybody's ready for the sheer amount of autism V has stored up.
oh, go girl.
Nah, V's a cursed place. The only V board I go on is retro games, and that's pretty much it. The general and video games is not a great place.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
glad.
think I can understand why V's broken up into several boards, because I guess people can only take so much autism at once.
For all the hate that people give the boomers, I'd rather have conversations with them than just like the randos that you find on the regular V threads. Because I can have a discussion about the original Fallouts. I can have a discussion about like the original Halo trilogy, or the original Star Wars Battlefront, series. But as soon as I go and just, I don't really play the new video games as much. Like, I don't play anything probably that wasn't published after like 2015 if I'm being safe. But if I just go just to see what's going on, it's just awful. It's an awful place. It's awful outside. Why do I want to go over there? I don't want to like shit on V too much, because a lot of funny memes do come out, and a lot of people spazzing out. Some good copy pastas have come out of that place. So I will honor what was there, the foundation and whatnot, because it was a pretty funny place back then. But now it's just I don't know what the hell. I mean, you might have people arguing saying, "Oh, V was always terrible," but I don't know. Maybe it's my nostalgia goggles on, and I saw some good a few couple times throughout the years.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, like, if someone said V was always terrible, I'd probably just say yes.
Like B? How B was always terrible?
I mean, I don't even go on to B, and I imagine it's both, like, still just horribly autistic and full of the worst shit you can find, as well as being a furry porn colony.
Yeah, I don't want to upset the B posters. I still share some kingship with them, because you remember B for Brony. There are some pony posters still left in there, because some things that normally get said on /MLP do pop up on /B on occasion. So I'm like, I see where you're at. But yeah, B is weird now. I will say that. I go in there on occasion.
I think that would be a violation of GR15, though, if people are posting pony shit outside of MLP.
It happens.
Yeah, because usually don't you get, like, instantly nuked because some Spurg is going to get his panties in a wad?
Probably. But, like, I meant it more in, like, the word form rather than, like, actual pictures. Because, I mean, like, yeah, pictures get posted here and there, but more of, like, what people say on the board. And sometimes you see the occasional brohoof, and I'm just like, huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Now that is ancient.
Yeah, we don't even use
Very
that.
fucking ancient. I don't think no one uses that anymore.
Hardly.
Yeah.
There's like some people I know on Discord that probably use it like very sparingly, but
he said the evil name.
yes, I said it. I'm welcoming the devil into my household by saying it.
It's just as worse as the Reddit.
The D stands for devil in Discord.
Okay. Are there any last thoughts that you want for this, Smutty?
I would like to fucking see a poll done to see the age range of the people who would generally like G5 more than G4, because it's most likely going to be people like a lot younger. But I'm not going to talk too much shit because I'm in that age bracket of those younger people, but I do have a suspicious, a theory that, the people that legitimately like G5 more are the same people that are generally a lot younger and then, join the ride like a lot later when, controversial opinion, when the series got shit, basically. But I think that's all.
Okay. Yeah, jumping around from just different platforms and talking to a lot of people, because, I'm a fucking antisocial outcast, so I don't leave this room besides to go to the gym and work. I've only met 3 people that at least to my knowledge, enjoy G5. So
Right.
I
Do they enjoy it more than G4 though?
apparently because they switch waifus, they can't take any criticism because if you give them some criticism of G5, they think you're trolling or the new word you're seething. But you know, I prefer rusting their jimmies. Yeah, I'm hip with the old words. If that's isn't that kind of like an oxymoron, being hip with the old words?
I possibly I can't really say on that.
I mean, it's sort of like because I can understand what that is like being someone who wants to imitate the old styles and look like a hipster for doing it. Then everybody wants to hop in on this new little trend that happens, and then
Yeah, it's no longer hip. Yeah,
See, like Seed and Cope were funny for a while, but now it's just I see it everywhere.
it's annoying because a lot of the time when someone says cope, it's to respond to like an actual valid argument.
Yeah.
Usually.
And then it's like, okay, I will now disregard your opinion because you have nothing else to say in this conversation. Thank you. But,
it's sort of become one of those words people say whenever they no longer want to argue because of course you could walk away from the argument on the internet and just do anything else, but not getting in that funny gotcha word so that you can post a screen cap to Reddit for that sick upvote. Yeah, that's just not going to look cool. What are people going to think of you? Your social credit is declining. Your wife is leaving you for a man that works in the NVIDIA factory.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's
So, yeah, you better fucking use your special funny word so that you can totally pwn the people who are saying the silly words to you that have actual reason and you just can't refute it. So just say cope and sneeze.
people are probably gonna fucking hate me for this, but I'm gonna say it. I think even the mayor word of just saying mayor is kind of getting old. Because I go in the mayor threads, which are normally comfy if it's just pictures.
Right.
But then once you have people just start kind of spazzing out a little too much, I'm like, okay, this is kind of like, getting weird. And it's not just me. I see people now kind of arguing in those threads. But then, similar to the whole Cope, Sneed, and Seed, now they're kind of doing the same thing and saying like, oh, we found the G5 poster, or oh, we found the Barbie poster. And it kind of just devolves into that. I'm just like, great, it's the same damn thing. we're either there or we're getting close. And again, I know people are going to hate me for it, and I know people are going to spaz out for it, but I'm just calling it now. Mare is that word where I think it was cute and comfy for a little while, but now, like a whole year and a half, it's kind of getting bland, and the fact that a pony thread went up saying that, and it had a lot of just interest in it because the person was like, yeah, mare's kind of losing its meaning, I just want to go back to pony. I was like, okay, there's other people that are thinking about this too. I'm not gonna bash on it too hard because again, I love mares. Like that's one of the reasons why we're here. But it's I know I sound like a hypocrite when I say that. That's why it's kind of like hurting me a little bit saying that. But I don't know. I think it's just like you kind of have to use it for like specific contexts or something. I don't know. That's just I
just use it. I just use it when saying female ponies. I just say mare. I don't say fucking mare for like every kind of pony imaginable. I just say it's just exclusive for females for me, but that's just me.
Yeah, they are cute though. But yeah, you crucify me in the comments. I'm sorry if I sound like a fucking hypocrite.
Our 5 comments.
Yeah, our 5 fucking comments. So, lastly, before we move on to the next topic, Mr. Fish, would you like to chime in on anything that we've talked about?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I haven't used the board in a while because of G5.
Oh, same.
I'll say I am completely biased. The only time I liked G5 was when it was first leaked because I liked the way Sunny looked, and any time after that I've hated it. It is fucking boring and just like, I don't know. I don't understand how people can like G5. Like, so when I see people post G5 or like, or just talk about liking it, all I can think in my mind is that like this person is just like an awful person. Like they like bad things. So when I just don't like going to MLP and seeing a bunch of G5 threads or the same thing with Barbie. I can't imagine ever liking it. So it makes me feel bad when I see threads about it. Well, not feel bad in like the actual way, but just it makes me feel unmotivated to go check out the board when 90% of it is either G5 or Barbie.
Yeah.
And I also, I guess, talking about the thread, I also don't understand nostalgia. But that's probably because I'm still young, I guess. I'm also still pretty new to MLP. I only got in when it ended, so.
Damn. Rip.
Like Xenophon walking through the ruins of Nineveh, you're looking at the absolute carcass of what used to be something grand.
Very grand.
So I don't understand, like, I don't feel nostalgic for G4 or anything. I just think it's better than G5 in every way.
Okay, that's fair.
And that's why I also hate when any criticism of G5 is reduced down to nostalgia or something like that, where it's like, oh, you old good, new bad, or something like that. It's because I hate that for any kind of criticism of something new. Is oh, you only like the old stuff because you're nostalgic for it or something like that. It's such a shitty way to show that you don't have an argument and that you're grasping at straws to discredit the other person's argument. Like, well, yeah, that's the end of that thought. I don't know why I was trying to continue it, but yeah, I just
No, keep going. I mean, you have some points you're making.
I don't understand it. Like, I understand liking bad things because I like things that aren't, like actually good. But I don't understand thinking it's good. Mm-hmm. I know the things I like are bad or like not good. Like I like things that are inherently flawed and like shitty, like games or fucking stories. I just don't understand like wholly believing that it's good, or like you only accept like the tiniest criticism of it. That's just, in my mind, that's not really liking something. You like the idea of something. Like I feel the same way with people that like say like, oh, my waifu is not flawed, she's perfect. And like they say it seriously. I feel the same way about them. If you can't like the flaws of something, then you don't really like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it would.
Yeah, I know where he's coming from.
I think it's sort of like when people are like constantly saying to themselves, "This is good, this is good, this is good, this is good." It kind of almost reads like they're trying to convince themselves rather than other people. Because I mean, I could definitely tell you that I am cursed with the affliction of playing shitty games so that nobody else has to, and I can point out like all the flaws that just are a crick in my teeth, and even though it can be very irritating at the same time, I still can't stop myself from enjoying it.
Yeah, I think the term is like sunk cost fallacy or something like that, where like you've spent so much time or something, or you've praised it so much that you can't go back and say, yeah, no, it's not good, because then all that time was wasted or something like that, And like I don't have a problem with that. I am fine with saying things that I've invested time in are like garbage and you shouldn't like play it or read it or whatever, Like I recently read a story that was like, I think it's 1,000,000 and like 500,000 words or something like that.
Jeez.
And it's like I enjoyed it for the most part, but I would never recommend it to people because it's just a waste of time. It's not that good of a story. It's not good enough of a story to warrant having 1,000,000 fucking words.
Project Horizons, anybody?
Totally.
I'm gonna makes a couple people mad saying that. Oh man, I'm sorry.
Right.
It's
I guess
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad to enjoy bad things or things that are flawed. I think that's fine. I enjoy flawed things. I just think it's awful. I just think it's bad to like ignore those flaws and pretend they don't exist because you need it to be good, because you need to have good taste. So you're only able to like good things. So if you like something, it has to be good. I think that's just a bad way of like criticizing things, or if I just think that's a bad way of like enjoying things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, sorry if I'm interrupting, but it sounds like it sort of sounds like people can't take the lesson from legendary superhero Wreck-It Ralph and say that the things I like are bad, but that doesn't mean I'm bad, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just hard because I want to engage with these people and ask them questions about like, hey, why do you like this? You know, why do you like this? Why do you enjoy this? You know, can you give me some like just insight basically? I mean, I understand if maybe by asking why do you like this is kind of dumb for some people, because sometimes you just like something because you like it and you can't really change that fact. You know, like I like the color purple. And when people ask me, like, well, why do you like the color purple? And I'm like, I just like it. You know, it looks nice.
I just think purple is pretty neat.
Yeah, you know, it's the same thing with Warhammer, you know, especially with the miniature game. It's like, why do you like Warhammer? It's so expensive, is this and that. But then I engage with them. I'm like, well, you know, I like the lore. I like sitting down, I like painting the miniatures. And the cool thing is you don't always have to buy from the direct source. You know, you can go off of eBay and buy things basically like 80% off, because I'm not giving GW $90 for 10 plastic men. So I think that's my issue with the G5 posters mainly. I try to engage with them and they just hit me with the cope, seed, oh, you just don't understand, and this and that. And it's just like fuck, are we back like at 2011 when the first like, and I use this word with a little bit of cringe because Brony has kind of lost its way. But when like the first Bronies are being asked like, hey, why do you like the show? And some people are like, oh, you just don't understand. I'm like, if you say you just don't understand, I think it's also kind of like a bad just way to present it. Because I was able to answer that question. I was like, I like the characters, I like the setting, I like, you know, the voice acting, the music's awesome, and that's just a show. Let me tell you about the fandom. You know, and then I started talking about the music being produced, the art, a lot of the projects that were going on way back when, and like all that kind of cool stuff. So it's like I can, you know, tell you why I like these things. And similar to what you were saying, Fish, about the show itself, you know, season 1 and season 2, but especially season 1, we sat down a couple times. I don't know if it was this group entirely, but like I know Yart, you were there. We sat down and watched some episodes of season 1, and we kept pausing every time we saw like an animation error and just started laughing, because it's like this would have never gotten, like, you know, this just wouldn't happen in the later seasons. So it's just kind of funny to see it, you know, like the tails were not on the bodies. There was some like, you know, I'm not an animator, so I don't even know what it's called, but it's like kind of like when the when those lines are still on the models of the Flash models for like trying to move stuff, like we kind of saw those a couple times, you know. And like I said earlier, like the voices weren't fully there, you know, and like I can still appreciate that because it's kind of like, we're kind of, you know, listening to the VA get into character, you know. So it's just, I appreciate where you're coming from when you say like, you can like something, but you kind of also have to address its flaws, because if you just like it 100%, it's just, you are kind of just telling yourself, I need to like it because for whatever reason is in these people's minds. But yeah, that's any last words on your statements, anybody?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, let's move on to the topic of nostalgia, because it does tie into this thread a bit, and that's what a lot of people were like talking about, besides of course the theme of the DLC. But nostalgia, I don't necessarily think I don't necessarily think that it's inherently a horrible or bad thing. It's only a bad thing if you're unwilling to see the flaws of what you were reading or consuming or you know, whatever you were doing, video games, books, or even food, whatever you were like taking in at the time. It's bad if you don't address the flaws. So similar to what Fish said earlier. But bashing the early fandom, especially seasons 1 through 3, I don't think that's really the way to go. And that's kind of the comments that I saw that were being not posted by some of the people in the thread itself, but some caps that were being posted on, like, I believe it was YouTube comments, which is always a mixed bag of what you're going to get. But yeah, I'll read a few of them to you guys, and then I'll start asking you guys, like, your opinions on them. This individual says, "This show is actually really good, especially in the middle and later seasons. I grew up with it, and it'll always be a big comfort show. One of my favorites." So that's pretty good. That's fine, you know. Another guy says, "The show really grows on you over time. You may not ever fall in love with it, like the fans, but guarantee it does at least get significantly better as it goes on." So again, another statement that I can agree with. A little bit of a starting to get a little bit, you know, throwing a jab there. At least in my opinion, because again, maybe it's my rose tinted glasses. This one is the one that kind of like made me a little kind of about what these people were talking about. Was, man, I'm going to love watching you guys grow to unironically enjoy this show. I can definitely say that the longer you stick with it, the better it gets. Season 1, definitely the worst season in a lot of ways, but if you can get through it, you'll be in for one hell of a ride. Seriously. This show gets absolutely wild at times, and it's absolutely fantastic. So, that was just like some comments that they were posting in the thread about people having, you know, opinions on the YouTube. But similar to another series, part 1 of JoJo ain't the best, but I have an appreciation for it. But for somebody to just say flat out that season 1 was awful, I can't really agree with that. And there was so I'll start asking you guys. Smutty, nostalgia, good or bad? And explain why.
I think it's good to have nostalgia, but like what you previously said, you should still acknowledge the flaws in it. Like all those fucking animation errors and shit. I feel like if you just look at it with glasses that are like literally fixed to your fucking eye sockets, I think that's dumb. I think that kind of negates your opinion if you can't even like acknowledge any of the flaws with said material. But that's just me.
Yeah, it negates your opinion.
We have a newcomer in here. What would you like to be called if you would like a name?
I'm fine with Pyragon. I think everybody knows me as that.
All right, Pyragon. So Pyragon, just to fill you in, we're talking about some nostalgia and if it's a good thing or a bad thing when it comes to G4 due to the influx of G5 posters and Barbie posters saying that you guys are only defending G4 so hard, or at least it's one of their stronger reasons, not really a point, but one of their reasons that we're really defending G4 because we're nostalgic and there's really nothing else to defend it for. They're discounting the music, they're discounting the art, they're discounting all the fandom creations. They're just saying that we're nostalgic and we don't want to move ahead to G5 because G5 is greener pastures. What is your take on that, if you have any?
Well, G5 isn't proven yet, so of course I'm going to be defensive of Generation 4 because Generation 4 has a lot of good memories to it. And I noticed this is like a weird thing that only happens in this fandom in particular, because like let's say fucking like Halo fans, right? Like Halo fans don't have this problem. It's like Halo 5 fans aren't going to people who played Halo 3 and prefer to play Halo 3, and it's like, oh, you only like Halo 3 because of nostalgia. It's a terrible game and you're stupid. Like, this is specifically a problem that affects us. I don't know why. It's so stupid.
I mean, whenever I sort of think about like people that say they're just starting to watch like MLP and they start with season 1, of course to them, since they weren't there whenever it started and they're only just starting, they're probably going to look at season 1 as the roughest because that's their first exposure to it. They don't have the same sort of memories that anyone here would if they had been watching the show since like back in 2011, 2012, or hell, even like when we were already like into like season 4 or some shit. They probably don't have the same strong memories about it. So perhaps that's coloring their perception much as it would color ours. And at the same time, I imagine that as they continue to watch the show, their opinion is probably going to change as well, because they start to both see the show evolve, their opinion evolve, so on and so forth, until they either quit midway through or get all the way to 9 in the finale.
And plus they can shut the fuck up, because the whole reason why they're here is because they're leeching off of the efforts of our creations, you know what I mean? Like, so I mean, they can get mad at us all they want, but I mean, like, we were, like, how do I say it? Like, we are the foundation of the fandom, so deal with it.
They stand on the shoulders of giants.
Well, as a, I don't know how deep you want to go in there, but as a content creator, especially from way back when, I would assume it would hit you just a bit harder, just seeing these weirdos coming out of nowhere and saying like, G5 isn't leeching on anything. G5 is its own thing. When
these people are irrelevant because they don't make content.
Jeez, a lot of hot takes coming from Pyro over here.
Yeah, he's going in guns blazing and penis erect.
I mean, it's cool, but I mean, like, if you're going to be critical of something, like, contribute to it. You know, everybody has like shitty opinions, and you're no better. I'll take your opinion more seriously whenever you have something to contribute. I don't know.
Do you? Okay, we also talked about this point earlier. And of course, this just depends if you've been on the board rather recently, especially at the time of this recording. But do you notice, like, just the sheer amount of, like, G5 threads and Barbie threads? And then they tell you, oh, come in and, like, you know, engage with us. And, like, you know, why are you talking shit? You have to come in our threads and, like, actually see what's going on. You know, we're giving you guys a chance. Haha, even though, they, like what you said, they're kind of leeching off of G4 stuff. But when you get in there, does it feel like you're talking to, like, the same couple people here and there?
I don't participate in those threads because there's no content being generated and there's no genuine discussion going on in those threads. They're completely irrelevant to me.
Damn.
Shuts it down immediately.
Damn.
I like it.
just you guys don't make content. Refuses to elaborate. Fucking leaves.
I mean, I would say that it's probably at least mostly true because like I don't remember a whole lot of good G5 content, but then again, we are kind of in like the sort of genesis of it all, so I don't really know if there will be. But at the same time, like there's only like occasional funny images or cute pictures, but I don't think that's enough to really say that you're generating like content. Perhaps that's an unfair assessment in comparison to like G4 that has like mountains and terabytes of content just sitting around.
Let me put it this way. So my favorite thread that I'm always in is tempo, because currently I'm always looking for new content, because, you know, like, we're kind of starting to slow down a little bit. Actually, we've been picking up speed a little bit with new content generation, but like in terms of like YouTubers and stuff and like animations, it's kind of starting to slow down. But regardless, you know what I don't see in tempo? I mean, you'll see it occasionally, but you know what I don't see? I don't see G5. Gen 5 anything. Yeah, I don't see G5 anything. It's all still G4. So these people, again, it's just further proving my point. They're not making content. They're just here to bitch and ruin it. That's it.
We could probably apply that template to a lot of people now, couldn't we?
Probably. Playing devil's advocate, because I try to be fair, and I don't really visit Tempo all that often, but are they allowed in Tempo? If they do post G5 content, are they going to be allowed in there, or they're just going to be immediately like, hey, get the fuck out of here, it's G4 only?
I think if you made like actual, like genuine, good, wholesome content, whether it be Gen 4 or Gen 5, people are going to accept it. I mean, Prince Whatever made a Gen 5 song and it was generally accepted by everyone. So, I mean, I don't think that's the problem.
Yeah, because like we were talking earlier, we're just trying to like understand, and I would love to have anyone that's a G5 fan come in here and just talk about it, give me some insight. But similar to what you said, like, you try asking them, you try talking to them, and they just don't give you anything of substance. They just say a couple of like, oh, Seed Cope, or this is Kino, boys. Kino's back on the menu, and it's just like, you watch it, because I give it a chance. I've actually watched some of this stuff, and the 3D animation's fucking god awful. I will say that. For all the resources that Hasbro has, there are independent YouTube animators, most of the time one-man operations, that have done just amazing things with 3D. And it's not just particularly Pony, but, you know, like I said, I love fucking Warhammer over here. I've seen projects just with one guy doing it, and it's amazing. So I don't think a company that has a team of people that also has, you know, storyboard artists, writers, and everything else, you know, they shouldn't be losing to just one guy. It kind of feels like there's no passion to it. So that's my hot take on the 3D art. The 2D art is okay. I get annoyed with the lazy art because, again, it kind of goes back to the whole, you know, you have resources, you have all these people. This is one of your premium IPs. You know, besides G.I. Joe and Transformers, I'm like, you know, Hasbro's known for Pony.
Yeah,
I would assume there'd be more passion and more to it. And I know as a fucking 20-something-year-old man, it sounds fucking horrible saying because, oh, you're not supposed to be watching the show. But besides the point, more effort, please. Your thoughts on that, Pyro, since you're just fucking spilling out bars over here, as the kids say.
What do I think? I mean, I don't really know what to think because I haven't really watched Gen 5 yet. Like, the only Gen 5 thing I seen was the movie, and I was watching that with my girlfriend. I did read a shit take on Slash MLP not too long ago, and I thought it was funny. And that was Hasbro is doing everything in their power to get rid of the fandom. It's like they're genuinely trying to make it bad. I don't know. I'd have to have seen the show for myself. That's a terrible take, and I'm willing to admit that's a terrible take.
I mean, if we're going to talk about ruining the fandom, I think most people that are in the fandom would do a better job of that than Hasbro could ever try.
God forbid a molester.
You know, that's a great video. My favorite part about that video is the announcer guy. What do you want to call him? I don't know. I guess the microphone Janny. Like, he actually cringes. Like, he has like a visceral react when he hears that. That's the best part. Like, that lurch forward and just absolute disbelief.
I do wonder whatever the fuck happened to that dude. Was he like banned from like every con after that?
I think when you fuck up that bad, he probably left. I mean, if you fucked up something that bad, you probably wouldn't want to be I mean, he was a legend for months after that.
I mean, he's quite the special type. Like, I wouldn't know if he would have the self-awareness to never come to a con again unless he's like actually banned by people.
Well,
but, you know,
there's worse people that are still going to cons, but I'm not gonna open that can of worms.
Like last time, okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna open that can of worms. I don't think I'll ever do that because, you know, it's a very funny topic and people will spaz out over it.
Mm-hmm. It would have been pretty cool though if he came back at the last BronyCon.
That would have been funny.
I wonder how many people would have even remembered him.
No, there was a worse guy. I even forget his name, but like it was during the fucking Lauren Faust panel that, well, not just her, there's other people there, but she was talking about, like, the overall creation of the show, telling us all this insight. I'm sure some of it has already been said on like other interviews and stuff, but it was still interesting to see, being there and hearing that. I'm like, damn, this is Mom. She's telling us all this crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Q&A. People are asking questions. It's cool. I personally wish for every convention to give a longer Q&A. I never understand why it's always like 10 to 15 minutes, but whatever.
Yeah.
They can probably only take so much interaction with the general public before they need a break.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine so. But this guy comes up and he just starts spouting about himself. Oh, I'm so and so, a part of this convention group, and we do this and that. Oh, did I mention that I'm so and so? I just got married, and he's basically telling us his story. And then it was hilarious. One of the panelists is like, "Are you gonna ask a question?"
Yeah.
everyone just started laughing. Like, all right, but yeah, like going back to what we were saying. Nostalgia. I don't think we asked you about this, Pyro. Nostalgia. Do you think, just in general, or not even just in general, but nostalgia in the terms of the pony as well as like the fandom, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Or do you have like an opinion on it? Like, there's a lot of people like what you were saying, like they'll attack it saying like, oh, you're only being nostalgic. That's why you're not giving G5 a chance. But like, do you have anything else to say about that topic?
I don't know. I think nostalgia is a good thing because it kind of reminds us, of like the good times. And I mean, I technically use nostalgia to try to, I guess, motivate me to go back to making content. Because I mean, I don't know. It's just comfortable, and I don't get why people have a problem with people enjoying, the stuff that they used to enjoy. It's so strange because you go on the nostalgia threads and it's like, you get a good thread going for about 10 minutes, and then they all show up and just fucking shit on it. I don't really get it. I don't get it at all. I don't understand.
I like the just disgust when you say they just show up. Like they.
Them.
They aren't even fucking.
I got, like I said before, this is like a fandom, like this is like unique to our fandom, and it's very strange, and it's spreading.
We seem to have like a lot of unique. Well, hold on. We seem to have like a lot of interesting things that particularly only happen in this fandom. Like, when someone has a big
content creators deleting all their shit with not a single trace. Yeah,
that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that, and as always, my plug-in, please archive everything. Favorite music, favorite art, stories, everything. There's PonyTube. There's shit tons of alt brew sites. Please archive stuff. I personally archive things that I find enjoyable because who knows? You wake up one day and it's fucking gone, and it's happened before, and that's why I start archiving. But plug-in away. Yeah, it's weird. We have people that have had big fucking oopsies and have like literally hated the fandom, but then when something happens, they come back to the fandom and e-begging essentially, and it's just like, why do we care about these people? And someone, and not to get too off topic, but somebody said something very like just it made me laugh a little when it comes to like the new age of people. Why are people that are quote unquote community guests that should love the show, should love the fandom, why do they need to have their plane tickets paid for, their rooms paid for, and just basically like everything has to be given to them in a platter? Like I don't get it. That's gonna be like that weird topic just kind of out there. Maybe we'll talk about that later, but just real quick, does anyone have any hot takes for that?
I think it's just because of the nepotism of this fandom. It's kind of just been expected because, like, it seems every single convention, especially big conventions like BronyCon, it's like, oh, you want to be a musician? Well, we're going to pay for everything. I think that's just a thing that happens in these conventions because it's just the standard that's been created. Because, not so now, but back in time, I would say before, like 2018 and before, nepotism in this fandom was stupidly retarded, and these people were treated like genuine like genuine celebrities.
Yeah.
So these conventions treated them like genuine celebrities.
Yeah,
I think that's why that whole thing came about.
I personally think that's when nostalgia goes bad, because they did some cool stuff way back when, but then like you look them up now and they have little to nothing to relate to the fandom at all.
It's like we're still fucking like we're still dragging out Black Griffin to do shows.
Or
That's like
for whatever reason, I don't know why.
Yeah, we have Saberstark, we have Dusty Cat.
Well, Dusty Cat is cool because he still likes the fandom and he still participates in it. So I won't touch shit about Dusty Cat.
Yeah, there's also not like any major controversy with him, like the.
Well, let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Although the spaghetti thing was funny, if you guys remember that. The dude that pulled spaghetti out of his pockets in front of Dusty Cat, he fucking picked up the spaghetti and like slammed it into the dude's chest. He's like, take your fucking spaghetti and fuck off.
That's pretty fucking funny, though.
Yeah.
That video is hard to find because like another nepotistic asshole that keeps deleting all of his content, yelling at cats. He was the one that uploaded that video, and he decided to do that thing where he just deletes all of his content, including that video of Dusty Cat, which is a shame.
I know somebody that has that video, and I could probably find it. And if I do, I will give it to you.
I would love to have it. I'll re-upload it.
Same.
Nice.
Give it to me as well.
But yeah, I think that's when like nepotism goes bad. Because when you remember certain people, they did something cool, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, let's treat them like royalty from there on out. When it's like, you know, I'm pretty sure there's been dozens of actual celebrities and people that have done some cool stuff, but like you say their name now, even though they were a big thing in the 80s, is like, who's that? What? Huh?
God, the nepotism back then was so awful.
It's... I don't want to get into it too much, but that's kind of like what I'm trying to say. It's just maybe that could be another topic for the next one, just nepotism, because I don't know. I don't want to say anything too controversial because I feel like most ideas, if done correctly and done in good faith, are often good, but nepotism, I think it's very easy just to go off the deep end and just start fucking with everything, and it's just not good.
Well, I can talk extensively about nepotism because as somebody who was like coming up in the fandom and working with a bunch of these quote unquote big time content creators, you know, with voice actors and stuff like that, I have gone through a lot of shit and had to kiss a lot of asses just to get involved in projects. Yeah, and I won't go too deep into that, but I'll tell you what, the nepotism in this fandom back then was absolutely poisonous.
Like, I just don't know about that. Like, I don't understand that. I always said, like, if you want to create content with me, let's do it. You know, of course, if it's my project, my idea, I would like it being done in a certain way, but if you have a better idea, then go for it, tell me. But yeah, I've heard some weird stories about that, like having to kiss ass up to people and basically worshiping them in order to like get on a project where, you know, oh, maybe 10 seconds of my audio might be in there, and it's just weird.
It was crazy. It was almost like genuinely working in like the real life entertainment industry.
That's kind of scary because yeah, but again, I don't want to.
So that's why there's those no good incidents that I can't mention if we're putting this on YouTube.
Yeah. Basically, when I don't. Never mind. I'm not even gonna say that. But I'll say that off the air. We'll have a good little laugh.
No. Okay.
Like, perhaps as my little 2-second aside about nepotism, I think it mostly comes down to whenever there's anyone who achieves some measure of popularity, they start to think they're king shit of fuck mountain.
Oh my fucking god, dude!
And then it sort of like gets to their head that yes, I'm the big guy. I do all the cool stuff. They just sort of fit into this sort of like ivory tower on a pedestal kind of bullshit where they think they just keep reinforcing this idea that they're the biggest thing since some Sumerian guy figured out how to make beer. and it's like of course they're going to be like up their ass so far they could have a perfect cast of their face in their colon. So yeah, it just sort of becomes an issue for just about anything whenever like most people get like just a crumb of popularity. Now there's probably some people that are immensely popular and are just like really down to earth people, but I think that tends to be the minority, since when most people achieve popularity, they tend to become like total dick rods.
If you ever decide you want to talk about the nepotism thing in the next episode of, or whenever that's going to happen, I definitely have a good amount of horror stories to share.
Sounds good.
You know what? That just might be the next topic, and I love people that can tell stories. Just like I was saying, like I want you to say the stories and tell me about the stories because you have a lot of insight with those stories. I'll see if I can get. I believe his name is Sunhorse. He has a lot of stories because he has a lot of friends in a lot of high places, and he has just given us tastes of like just what happens behind these closed doors. So I don't know. Maybe I just don't hang out in other fandoms as extensively, but similar to what Pyro said earlier, like I don't see it in Halo, I don't see it in JoJo, I don't see it in like, and the anime fandoms are fucking horrible. I think sometimes they're even worse because of what the kind of shit that happens there. But to I don't know. Again, I don't want to get into too much of it in this topic. Let's try to bring it back into what we were talking about earlier, and that was basically the whole like nostalgia thing. I would like to say this in terms of combating this, because I don't think any G4 people should just stop necessarily fighting or even waiting, because there might be some G4 bros out there saying like, shit, am I really alone on this board? I'm fighting all these people alone. And I know this sounds fucking cringe as fuck, as if we're like in a stupid fucking war room under Berlin as the Soviets are attacking, but whatever, we're talking about fucking ponies. We don't take each other that seriously around here.
Hopefully.
But, I mean, hopefully.
Actually, you should address me under my preferred names, and I need you to treat me very nice and buy my hotels and shit.
Shut up, Saber Spark. Anyways. Like I said, I think the best way to combat this is just making content. I'm not even going to engage with them necessarily unless they actually want to have a discussion, similar to what Pyro's saying. If they're just going to just say some off-the-wall shit, or the typical siege feed and cope, or this is Kino boys, and if you ask them why, they don't say anything, or they just tell you you're coping. I think that's the best way to combat these people, is just continue to make content. The way I have made so many people upset is drawing their G5 characters in the G4 style, because they're like, oh my god, why are you doing this? G4 style is old, get it out of here. And I'm like, well, it's the correct style, and of course that starts a fucking flame war, and sometimes I've been thrown to vacation for a couple days, but it's fucking worth it.
You don't like it? Well, how about you do something? How about you draw then? If you don't like it,
draw.
Exactly.
You draw.
Exactly.
You make the content.
That just like screams insecurity to me. Like I'm fine with people like liking their G5 shit. Most of the time, whenever I see a bunch of G5 posters, they look like absolute fucking brainlets, or just very weird squirrely people, especially if they're the type that needs to be up with the times.
I don't want to go too big into this comparison, because I don't want to bore people, but it's like you're kind of seeing the same thing within like the Linux sphere too, especially as Linux has been exploding in popularity lately because of Windows 11. Like, you're getting a lot of people who are like brand new to Linux, and they're getting upset that like Sony Vegas doesn't work with Wine, and it's like they're sitting there and they're yelling at they're yelling at like open source developers because Wine isn't able to play Sony Vegas. And it's like, okay, well, how about instead of you begging these people to fix a program for free, how about you learn how to code and fix it yourself? It's kind of like the same deal almost. It's like these people kind of want others to pander to them and make content for them, but they're not willing to make the content themselves.
I mean, I'm probably wrong on it, but I imagine there's at least one Linux distro that's compatible with Sony Vegas.
It's kind of a bitch to run. I don't want to get into all that, though. Nobody wants to hear somebody spur God about Linux.
That's probably for the best, because I generally like making fun of Linux users. Even though I imagine there's a lot of nice things about it, I just still like poking fun at them.
I make my content with free open source software, but I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna get started.
It's okay.
Awesome, honestly. I mean, it's great. But again, from what I've heard, fucking Sony's a bitch and sometimes just crashes and then all your fucking work is gone. But like you said, I don't even want to get into that. I used Sony once and I was doing something. Couple days, crashed, file was gone. And I was like, all right, never using Sony Vegas again because that's just how petty I am. But
I've heard that that it's basically Sony Vegas giveth and Sony Vegas taketh away.
No, fuck those guys. But yeah, I mean that's sort of how it is, you know. I draw, other people are drawing now in those threads, and they get upset that like, why are you drawing in the G4 style? And I'm like, well, that's the style.
Because I want to.
In a G5 style.
Exactly. I'm like, I personally don't like the G5 style, and I know for some people that have heard me in the past, I changed my position on it. The art style is pretty fucking god-awful, especially after having a little roundtable discussion with a bunch of artists, some of them well-known on the board, and after they explained it to me, and I know I sound like a fucking, you know, dummy because I should have probably saw it when I, you know... I had hope. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. I had hope for G5. I had hope that things would change, but it's not changing, and I'm just like, okay, well, I feel like the G4 style is better for these ponies, not because of my nostalgia goggles, but it's just that they just don't. There's no ass, there's no legs. They run a little weird. Their faces don't look like the ponies. Their manes don't look right. It's just they're not ponies. And I know some people are gonna be like, oh well, the G4 ponies don't. Well, yeah, but at least when I ask people, hey, what looks more like a horse or more of the idea of a horse that aren't in the fandom, because I have people outside the fandom that I do talk to, most of the time they point to the G4 pony. Because, oh, that looks like an actual pony. G5? Not really. But that's just my take on that. Anyone want to take the fucking conch now and talk?
Yes, I'll take the magic conch shell and pull the yarn for a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of like something I sort of feel like is that they look a little less horsey. And of course, like if we were to go to G4 and want to point out examples of them being less horsey, we could point to the later seasons. But I'm not going to get into that argument because arguing about seasons is probably the most boring, let my eyes roll back into the head of my spine, slide out of my ass kind of shit that I really just don't want to touch. But yeah, they just look more horsey, especially like in the earlier seasons. They actually even act like horses too.
Yeah, they actually make horse sounds occasionally in there.
Yeah, they got rid of that in later seasons, didn't they?
Yeah, they got rid of that about like season 3 or something like that.
Like what was it? Was it a little silly having the VAs or like little sound bites of horses? Like I don't get it, but I guess since they had that gravy train rolling, they didn't really care.
Dude, it was just the most comfy thing seeing Pinkie Pie rolling around on the grass like an actual horse would do. It was just, I don't know, like those are one of those gifts that I often see, and I'm just like, wow, this is comfy. I can see myself walking around Equestria, and they act horsey. But then you go to G5, and they're acting like a bunch of Zoomers that act like they have higher morals than you, and that's something that I don't like either. Not to say that later seasons didn't do that, but at least the first couple seasons was about exploration, the land, you know, the lore, magic, but then G5 came out and it was just immediately about, oh well, we hate each other, and it just did like the typical like haha racism is bad, and I'm just like, well, okay, what else? You know, so
where's the meat of it? You can't just have one thing be the big subject of it.
Yeah,
I think the whole division of like the pony races is something that like happens in cycles, kind of like the cycle of empires. You know what I mean? Where you have like a big empire and it falls, and then a new empire rises. I'm starting to think that this is a thing that just happens with like Pony Civilization. Like they unify and then they like break apart, and then they unify and then they break apart.
Rinse, repeat. Yeah.
I mean, this is probably like looking at like ancient Mesopotamian history. It's like, oh, hey, the Assyrians are here and they're gone. Oh, look again, they're really coming through super strong. They're gone.
No,
this
what was
is their one song, and they're gone pretty much forever now. And like, there's some other people.
I'm sorry. What was that episode that went over like what was it, the Sirens or no was it the Sirens? What was it? It was
Wendigos.
The Wendigos. Yeah, that's it. Like that's happened before in history. So I have a feeling like like in pony lore, it's like just they have like years of prosperity and then like some bullshit happens and then they all hate each other.
I sort of imagine that the only reason they've lasted this long is that Celestia and on occasion Luna have been like the tarred wranglers of pony civilization.
More than likely.
But who's tarred wrangling? You have to forgive me because I haven't watched anything more than the movie. But who's tarred wrangling now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like they're gone now, so
just some
The Bogdanov brothers, obviously.
It's just some random pony that got alicorn powers, which is another thing that kind of upset me about the movie. The pacing was awful, and just for Sunny to get her ultimate power up and then just immediately be like, friendship will answer everything, which again, I know G4 did it, but I think just G4 did it a lot better, and
I actually feel like the movie premise would have been like a good premise for a show in general. That would have been pretty interesting to see it like slowly pan out.
I just wish they didn't try to force entire, like, what's it called? Let me gather my thoughts. I just wish that they didn't, like, have such horrible pacing, and I already said that earlier, but the conflicts were just more dire, Because there was the Wendigos, they were freezing over the lands, the Earth Ponies couldn't grow their crops, the other two, Pegasi and Unicorns, they couldn't eat, that already is a very horrible thing to happen, starvation. But this one is like, oh, we don't get along, we don't talk to each other. It's like, okay, so basically lunch tables in high school, got it, I would have been more interested seeing the what if, but again, that's more of a topic for another time. But that's the issue. I guess these are some points I bring up to these people, and they just dismiss it. Like, oh, well, if you didn't like what you got, that's your problem. I can point out all these other issues in G4, and I'm like, okay, I'm not saying that G4 is without issue. It's just like, there's just a lot more flaws that I see. Maybe it's just because I'm older. Maybe it's because I've consumed more media that I see things that could be done in better ways. But yeah, I'll stop talking. Pyro, sounds like you want the conch. Here you go. I'm throwing it at you. Bam.
Well, yeah. See, here's what you don't get, right? So like at the end of like Generation 4, there was a war between the ponies and the zebras, and some mega spells got dropped, and the Pegasi didn't like open up the sky, and that's why like unicorns and Earth ponies and Pegasi hate each other. Then some bullshit happened with the Pegasi and the Earth ponies, and then that's when G5 happened. That's why they all hate each other.
Cue the Fallout intro music.
That's some bullshit I read on the board.
Down.
It's fine. No, you're one of the few FOE individuals that I can actually have a conversation about FOE without spurging out saying that Project Horizon is the best thing ever.
Oh God,
that's another thing people really get like unnaturally upset about, and that's Fallout Equestria. Even though like Fallout Equestria fans kind of like keep to themselves in their containment thread.
Yeah, I can't.
Like people just get so irrationally angry when you bring up Fallout Equestria.
You know what? If I can find the fucking thread, because it was hilarious. It was, of course, it was a G5 thread, and they were doing their normal thing, and then some G4 posters came in like, oh, what, asking questions as per usual. Then they started posting like blackjack pictures, and then everyone's like just getting upset and ringing and like, oh, go back to your containment. And then someone's like, oh, so we post actual ponies and you guys get upset, huh? So that was a little funny, and I mean, I sound a little hypocritical because I shouldn't be doing that, going to other people's threads and messing with them. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. For the most part, Fallout Equestria fans kind of keep to themselves in their own boards, or not. Why do I say boards? They keep to themselves in their own threads. You know, they're pretty. I don't know. They have that weird defense system where you can't really derail them. I don't know why. Maybe there's a Janny that likes Fallout Equestria a lot, but it just feels like none of those threads ever really get derailed. Maybe it's just me.
The railroad tracks got destroyed in the war, so you can't exactly derail it.
And probably because if you're a Fallout Equestria fan, you have to be a person that's capable of like reading. So
yeah,
you probably don't.
Yeah, that probably filters out the worst of the audience, because if they can't be asked to read, then they're probably not going to be FOE fans.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Project Horizons is a pretty big story to read, and is the payoff really worth it?
In the beginning half of it is.
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
And then he looks at, yes. What did you say last time when you were having this conversation? I think like, only up to this chapter, and just pretend that so and so's dead.
Oh yeah, when
don't say the name. I
already did it.
I'll edit that part out. I'll edit that part out. But just tell me, just this certain character dies, right? And you're like, okay, just pretend that the story's over after that.
Yeah, when it ends with "and then I died," just close the tab and don't keep reading. When said character dies the first time, just accept that as canon, and just stop there.
All right. See, I am willing to like sit down and go like just crazy on the.
That's gonna piss someone off. That's gonna piss off someone off. I know for a fact.
You know what? If I say an announcement and they don't show up, that's their problem. And if they fucking get angry, you should have invited. I'm like, well, I announced it. Everyone else heard about it. Whatever. But I don't know. Like, just going off, I guess, again on a secondary tangent. Now this just sounds like a regular podcast instead of a fucking focus group. Thank you guys. Well, I'm also the dumbass here because I should have fucking made sure we were on course.
Yeah, shat ass moderator.
Fucking horrible fucking host. But you guys are having. I don't know. I like your points. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, I suppose similar to G5, and this is the same thing I have with Project Horizons. If it starts getting bad and I don't want to finish it, I think that's kind of like, a sign of like, this isn't really that good as you say it, which kind of a little bit of a contradiction, because I agree with what Fish said earlier, which was about, hey, I like things are bad in a sense of like not bad as an evil, but just like not really well done. Not really necessarily a problem in that, but at least in my opinion, from someone who actually like goes into the deep dive when it comes out to Fallout Equestria, I don't really hold Project Horizons in the highest regard. I prefer Pink Eyes over Project Horizons, but that's just me.
That's one of the shorter books too, so
yeah,
easier to read.
You can probably only take up with so much reading before you just have to go outside and just let your retinas get burnt out by the sun to recover.
It just at a certain point, Project Horizons just feels like you're reading a book for an assignment at school, and I don't like that. So I
think that's like any massive work of fiction. Like I think there's some fanfics out there that are like millions and millions of words, and it's like, why would you keep up with that?
I'm pretty sure the world's like largest things of like literature is a fanfic. I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right. And again, not to go too off course, but I think it's like a Super Smash Bros. Fanfic.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's been going on for the past like maybe 10 years or something. I could be wrong. It could be going for less or more, but yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I just don't see much that you could write about in a game where you get a bunch of cartoon characters and beat the shit out of each other.
Oh
yeah, it's a Smash Bros. Fan fiction, and it's got 7,296,586 words.
Yeah.
And when did it start? Does it say like the year or anything?
It doesn't say when it was started, but it was finished in. It was published June 14th, 2018. It was last updated August 31st, 2018.
What? Really? I thought it's still ongoing. Huh.
From June to August.
Yeah, this is according, and you'll have to forgive me, but I've gotten this information from Plebit.
I don't know if they're wrong, but if that's the case, homie spent just a few months writing out millions upon millions of words. You mean to tell me he did what a medieval scribe would do over the entirety of their lifetime in just 2 months at a computer?
Yes.
Maybe he sold his soul to the devil like that one dude. That one medieval dude who apparently wrote that entire manuscript in one night.
Oh, yeah, I think he made a bargain with the devil to finish a monastic script, like a manuscript that supposedly has an image of the devil on it.
Yeah, he did it all in one night apparently, and people thought he's made a deal with the devil or something. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a deal with the devil or some really good coke, but
Jeez.
well, they probably wouldn't have had access to cocaine at that point in time. What's the nearest stimulant? Maybe he ground up some mushrooms in tea or something.
Yeah, and the evidence that it might actually be something supernatural is that his handwriting apparently never changed throughout that entire thing.
So I'm looking at some bullshit Cancer's Top 10 website, and that's talking about absurdly long fan fictions, and there's a fan fiction directly behind Fallout Equestria Project Horizons called Sonic's Ultimate Harem.
That just doesn't sound like a thing I even want to talk about or even think about. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not going to read that because I'm pretty sure it's not good reading.
I'm curious now.
No.
Let's not do this now.
Speaking of the top 10, where does Project Horizons rank?
On this one, it's at an honorable mention of number 12.
Oh, all right.
But I mean, it's some random fucking top 10 website, so who cares?
All right.
Top 10 longest works for fan fiction. Number 10.
All right.
Did that sound dweebish enough?
Yes.
Number 10.
Number 15.
Burger King foot lettuce.
This mayor has been known to add extra lettuce on your burgers, and when you take a bite, it doesn't taste like lettuce. Where does she get it from? All right. Let's see. Let's wrap this up before we get way too off topic. But
yeah.
Going back to my last point that was probably mentioned 15 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago before we started springing out about Project Horizons and Fallout Equestria. Thank you, Pyro. I think the best way to combat these guys, rather than getting yourselves banned, just make content. Because they can't ban your content, right? Unless it's going against the rules. But if you're just drawing a bunch of G5 ponies in the G4 style, it's kind of a fuck you to them. Because it's well, first of all, you can't even make this because, one, you refuse to, and second, this is the superior art style because you don't have anything to compare it to, so fuck you.
And also, number 3, are you really trying to get somebody to change their art style after they've been drawing a certain way for, at least 5+ years?
I mean,
it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that, you know.
In a fucking decade, people are probably entrenched in whatever art style they've gotten into,
and it's not like people's art styles are well, I mean, there's a few, but I mean, for most people, they have their own art style. It's not even show accurate.
The only show accurate person I can think of is probably Badam Squish, but I will cease talking about it now.
I feel like I need to look into that more because there's probably some spooky images there, but maybe we'll talk about that later.
I'm not above enjoying Gen 5 fan created content. It's just it doesn't exist.
It's that I would enjoy it if it existed.
The only thing I've seen is just some art, some weak green texts that any fucking 12-year-old can probably write a better story to, or not even a 12-year-old. That's kind of insulting to a 12-year-old. Maybe something that I can write, and not really nothing else. I've heard one song from G5 that was fan created, but other than that, I just don't see the content, and I don't know what the argument for them is. It's being buried by G4. I'm like, nah. You just got to put in some certain tags, and you can see a bunch of G5 content. It's just I just don't see it.
It's being buried by G4. Just make content then.
Yeah.
I don't. It's so asinine. I hate that mindset so much. People aren't pandering to me. They need to make the content I want to see.
Look,
these stupid Gen 4 guys, their content is overtaking our content. It's like the reason our content's overtaking your content is because you're not making content at all.
you know what?
You know what? Like, maybe you should be the change you want to see in the world, but not in the obnoxious activist way.
Yeah, be like Sunny, right? You guys worship Sunny so much. Be like her. Be the change, Anon. Make content, Anon. The bar is so low, Anon.
Bar is so low. I'm pretty sure if you just shat onto a canvas and it vaguely looked like a G5 pony, it would be an improvement.
I'll watch Gen 5 animations if somebody makes if somebody decides they want to open up Blender or something and make like their own like silly Gen 5 shit post. I'll happily watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Gen 5 episode 1.1, Sunny fucking bulldozes a crowd with a school bus.
I mean, we haven't always had like templates and stuff like that. Like there was a good number of years where we didn't have anything. Like no templates, no Flash puppet rigs, no SFM. You know what I mean? But we still found a way to make it work.
Yeah, because people took the initiative and made their own thing. And
Yeah.
it was the same thing with the draw guides. You know, some people sat down, made some guides to draw your ponies. I'm pretty sure if you really look for them, there's probably even guides to like writing out decent stories. You know, basic stuff that you got to look out for. Your grammar, making sure this isn't fragmented, of course spelling, and just making sure if you're writing a story that there's not going to be any plot holes, and et cetera, et cetera. Maybe a little bit harder when it comes down to it because you need to actually like practice on your craft a little bit more.
I was watching the new content stream today.
Yeah.
Not one video on there was Gen 5. Not one.
Yeah, that's a little upsetting.
I mean, not surprising if if a lot of those Gen 5 posters are actually the ones complaining, because usually what I have noticed is that the people that complain the loudest are going to be the people that tend not to actually do anything, because all they know how to do is complain. And if you point to them saying, "Okay, bro, I'm making something right now. You're gonna make something," they'll be there like, "Oh, well, no." And that's the end of the fucking story right there. Like, they'll shut up for a minute, then like 5 minutes later they'll go back to bitching. It's like clockwork.
There's all sorts of great free software for content creation. Everything. There's free software for animation. There's free software for music production. There's free software for video editing. There's free, like... There's no excuse to not make stuff. I mean, there's free software for 3D animation. I mean, if you don't want to do, like, the modeling yourself, SFM is free. There's all sorts of free shit. It's there. Like, the tools are there for you to make content. And there are people, even though I'm a Gen 4 fag, I will happily enjoy some good Gen 5 content. The tools are there for you to make it. Just grab it. Grab it and try. Make something.
Be the fucking monkey that discovers fire and decides that he needs to destroy all other species that get in his way, like your ancestors did.
Well,
Gen 4 people will genuinely enjoy Gen 5 content. If just make it. Just go make it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure just about anyone here would enjoy Gen 5 content. The problem is it doesn't exist right now, and we kind of need people to prove us wrong. Like, hey, if it actually is good, make this fucking content. However, until it happens, we can safely reside in our echo chamber, saying that maybe it isn't actually that good. We don't see anything new.
Yeah, going back to the whole like artist thing, there's the worst comes to worst, just go to the 99-cent store, buy yourself a fucking, fuck, I am blanking. Go to the 99-cent store and buy yourself a composition book, 99 cents. Also buy some pencils there. You don't need to have like the state-of-the-art like program or drawing tablet. Just start drawing.
Oh, please! You can get a bamboo pen and touch for like $30.
Yeah, like, and there's what you just said. There's tons of free. Use MS Paint. MS Paint.
Krita. I'm fairly certain Krita is free. There's Krita. Krita is free, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just saying, just for the people that have Windows, MS Paint is free. Bring back the
And
MS Paint threads.
I would love to see that. Yeah, and there are people who will genuinely sit down and spend hours teaching you how to do something.
Yes, there are.
There's people with a ridiculous amount of passion and the patience of a saint that will teach you this shit. Just listen to it. They're probably willing to teach you to learn how to at least try. However, you got to step forward and put in the effort to actually do the thing. Otherwise, you really don't have a right to complain about a lack of content being generated, especially if you have the power, the tools to do all this shit. Because I'm pretty sure there would have been a lot of people back in ye old Roman days that would have loved to have just pounded out fucking fan fictions to whatever they enjoyed. However, you, my estranged internet hombre, you have this great power at your hands, and you refuse to do anything with it. Normally, I would say based, but in this instance, it's cringe.
You know what's funny is this is what I don't understand by like our Gen 5 friends here is that with Generation 4, there seemed to be this never-ending spark of creativity. Like we were always constantly inspired to make something, but it doesn't really seem that inspiration has carried on to Gen 5. And that's kind of sad. I would like to see like some new content following a new IP. I would love to see that, honestly. It would be great. I would have no problems with that whatsoever.
Yeah, and G5 has some things that I do enjoy. I mean, I like Fintlocks on the ponies. I think I like seeing that more, you know. I like some of the colors that some of the background ponies have. I mean, you know, we have our favorite Mare Posey out there hating on fucking Izzy for being a total spaz and ruining the peace and quiet of Maritime Bay. You know, I enjoy some of this stuff, and I've learned that if I want to see more of it, I'm gonna have to do it myself because these guys don't do it. But enough shitting on it.
No, I'm not shitting on it. I'm shitting on them. Like, go fucking make content. Go do it.
Just, you know, there's gonna be some people out there that are gonna be, oh, you're being a little too hard. But I mean, yeah,
being a little too hard. If anybody can find a way to get in contact with me, like I said, I have a website. I have a way to get in contact with me. I will happily show you what I know how to do.
Oh yeah, this will be posted on the /MLP YouTube channel as well as our normal channel on Mares. You know, just go on the comment section. And I'm sure some of you that are watching are probably from the server, and you probably recognize some of our voices, and, you know, just shoot us a message. I've sat down with a few people before just talking about drawing and how to actually draw it traditionally, because I'm sad that there's not many traditional artists out there. I've only met 2. I wish there was more. I mean, I understand it's expensive. The paper itself's expensive. Fucking pencils. But again, you don't have to start there. Composition book 99 cents, pencils 99 cents. Start there, get you know, save some money as you're practicing, and then you buy better material and better equipment if you want to, if you really think it's gonna, you know, up your game.
If you're going out to buy the colored pencils, make sure you buy the flesh colored pencil so that you can draw ponies very accurately with all the right tones. I actually do somewhere have like this this box of like 12 or so Crayola flesh colored pencils.
And just remember, there is free software out there, and it all works great. You don't need Photoshop. You don't need Sony Vegas. You don't need Flash. There's alternatives out there if you don't have the money for these programs, and they work just fine.
While I would plug in something about free software here, I probably shouldn't say it because who's a professional is going to get very upset with me.
What was it? Just say it.
Borrowing software for an indefinite period of time without paying for it.
I'm sure no one around here does that. I wonder who's the... I wonder who
we're all very good boys here. You can trust us.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's that. I kind of goes back to it, I guess. Back to G5. It's like, yeah, we're kind of bashing on it, but at the same time, too, it's like, shit, man. Where are you guys at?
I mean, I guess my mindset is that I want to see it do well, and so like I personally don't really have a horse in that race because even if like G5 is doing well or is bombing, I still have the pony crew over at G4. Like I don't necessarily need it to 100% be everything about G4, because so long as we're here shooting the shit, having fun, making content, all that jazz, it doesn't really matter if the show's doing one thing good or two things bad. All that matters is that we're having a good time doing whatever we want, because for all intents and purposes, the outside world can go McFuck itself.
Yeah, it's a that's another thing I guess I can bring back about, if we're going to be talking about a little bit about G4. It's like G4, when it first started, that's why I enjoy the earlier seasons, is because it was more of an escapism. You know, it was, again, it goes back to the whole like Magic Land and trying to discover things and adventures and that, which I think G5 at its premise tried to do, and we can see it on the concept art, which is a topic I would love to talk about, of a what if, of what could have happened, but I just don't think I just don't think it you know, it caught the ball. I don't think it you know, the shot went in the hoop, as the sports fans would say. And that's why I enjoy the earlier seasons of MLP a lot, because it has that there. And at the time, I think the fandom, it was a mix, because not like right now, there's a lot of professionals out there making professional art, you know, professional writers, professional music. But a thing that I do love the most, which I would have enjoyed experiencing another time, was just the raw creation output of G4. Because again, you had professionals making their stuff, but G4, most of the people that I would listen to or read their stuff or look at their art, they were just starting out. And I think that's kind of the cool thing, because when I was starting to do a couple things here and there, I was starting out with these guys, so I wasn't alone doing this stuff. So that's just my 2 cents about that kind of stuff. I don't know if you guys want to keep going or wrap it up, but it's up to you guys.
Well, I guess as a point I kind of wanted to touch on is that perhaps one of the reasons that maybe at least we who have been here for a while may not like G5 a lot for, is that it's sort of taking away the escapism aspect in order to be more relatable to a newer audience. Which I think that would kind of hurt it, because instead of having this world that has mystery and would sort of lure you in with the promise of there being something new to explore or a new lesson to be learned, you're instead just kind of treading over a sort of bizarro pasted over version of our current reality, and I don't think anybody wants to explore that. Why would you?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like. Personally, I just think it's a bit weird to want to like just have this sort of XP of our reality. Like I get that the horses have of the MLP shows tend to have a lot of human in them because like, you know, they're talking, they have like societies and shit, but. It just probably doesn't have the magic because it's just being so close to what we are like where we are at right now, instead of it being this mystical land. It's stripping away the magic to make it more relatable.
Yeah, those are some fair points. Those are some good points. Those are some fair points, and those are some good points. Smutty, you've been kind of quiet. You wanna give your last take on this?
I think I already. I think you people have explained it a lot better than I could. So.
No, go ahead and say something.
No, it's not good. I think you explained it like a hell of a lot better than I could right now.
All right. Okay. He's just a lurker. He's died.
Not really, but no.
not yet. Pyro, what about you? Any closing statements? Any closing arguments? Anything? Pyro is fucking dead.
No, he's just straight up dead, not me.
Damn.
Okay.
I'll give him a couple minutes. Fish, do you want to say anything? Any closing statements? Any closing arguments? Anything at all?
I guess I'll just say liking G5 isn't like bad, or I don't think liking something is bad. I think you can like something even if it's like actual garbage and has no redeeming qualities, but you have to acknowledge that. Like, if you refuse to acknowledge the flaws in something and you just like it blindly, then you don't really like it. You just like the idea of it. Repeating what I said earlier. I just... Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can get that. That kind of sounds like the problem of where like people are. I mean, it almost kind of sounds like people just being into it because it's a trend or something along those lines, isn't it? Like they don't want to actually like the thing. They're just. I guess it's almost like being a clout chaser in a way.
They like the idea of liking it.
I would say this almost kind of ties into like all those people that are just either chasing the aesthetic or the fashion of it, sort of not to actually be it or understand it, but just to have the look rather than anything else.
Yeah, that's why. Going a little more. That's why I don't like. Whenever I see a post about like, oh, but it's more pony, don't you like pony? And that's like, I like good things. Or not even that. I like things that have redeeming qualities to them, or that, or, no, I'm fucking up what I said earlier. But like, it's the idea of, oh, you like pony, so you should like this. It's like, I don't like everything that is pony. I like this, and it has pony in it. But that doesn't mean just throwing a pony on something makes it good and something that I like. I hate that thought that whenever people say, "Oh, it's pony, why don't you like it? Do you just not like pony?" It's stupid.
I mean, there's also like bad G4 content. There's probably like mountains of it beneath all the golden content that was churned out. There's probably like an even bigger layer of utter trite. We would call this femfiction.net.
Ouch.
Ouch. I mean, to tell you the truth, it's getting kind of hard finding like good stuff on there now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely find some good stuff. I'm just ripping on it because I both love it and I wish that it would that there would be at least a bit more of a standard. But at the same time, I can't really be too upset that somebody has more confidence in their own writing and posts it for the world to see. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, like just because I like G4 shit doesn't mean I like everything G4. Because, like, I have my preferences, and there is a mountain of utter trite and garbage out there that is G4 content. If you look for anything, there's going to be, like, tons of that awful stuff somewhere. But there's also a lot of good, and, of course, depending on who you are, it'll depend what you like, but for the most part, there's a lot of stuff that most people in the fandom can point to as being good content that holds up pretty well. Now, there's probably also a bunch of stuff that doesn't hold up really well whenever we step back to re-examine it. But yeah, it's just how that is. You can't just like everything. I mean, you probably could, but I would think you a crazy person.
Yeah, nah, that's a fair point. You know, one of the best redeeming qualities of G5 is the porn, but you know that's just me. It's a controversial.
Hey, you said it's for me. Okay.
that was from the Peanut Gallery. That wasn't me saying that directly. That was from the Peanut Gallery. So thank you for mentioning that. But
of course.
Yeah, I suppose as some people often say, you can judge a fandom by the porn that they create, unless it's My Hero Academia, and that's
oh boy,
pretty sus. Oh no, I said that word. Fuck.
Oh for fuck's sake! God damn it!
Shit. And I even said what is it again? My Hero
Academia, I think.
Yeah, that
Macadamia nuts.
Macadamia, yeah, My Hero Macadamians. Yeah.
I could never get into that shit at all.
Their fandom's a little weird, but I don't want to dive into it that much.
I don't watch
Right.
anime, so I can't relate.
I would probably be burnt at the stake for this because for whatever reason we have a lot of people in here, but those people that really fondle over Phillies, kind of weird, bro.
You're cringe.
Uh-oh.
Cope, seethe, and dilate.
Shit,
Right, here we go. Here we fucking go.
Oh man. Is Pyro? Pyro, are you here? Are you dead? Are you alive? He's fucking dead still. I'll give him like 5 minutes. See what. Maybe he just went to get a drink or something.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I had an important phone call to take care of.
No problem. We were just giving our closing statements. Do you have any closing statements for the things that we've spoken about? You came in pretty late, but I think you gave him some pretty good insight.
No, I have no funny, witty jokes at the moment.
But nothing else. Nothing of ending statements. Anything else?
Make content. Shut the fuck up. Make content. Stop being a bitch.
That's pretty fucking good. All right. Well, this has been your thread review. I was your conductor for the night. Stuck on the moon or hold on. What the fuck am I saying? Well, that was your thread review. I hope all of you enjoyed that. I was the conductor of this train that derailed a few times, but I think
And went off the clip a few times, yeah.
I must have clipped a few times, but I do. This was your thread review, all right, and I was your conductor, Stucky, and I really hope you enjoyed this conversation. And although we got derailed a few times, I did enjoy you guys' company. So, thanks you all for listening, and we will continue to do these and share these takes, whether they're hot or cold. But yeah, go make fucking content, you fucking bitches.
Pour out the absolute most garbage, awful content on a regular basis in order to make us feel better.
Yes, as a wise man said, the bar of entry has been so low that it has gone to the point where you just have to make something.
Mhm.
So, you know who you are that said that. But yes, please make content. Please archive content. And have a good day or a good night. I don't know where you fucking live. So long. Phillies are bad. Get the fuck out of here.
You're cringe.
And there we go.